Hello and welcome to CVR News Network. You're watching CVR English and these are the details of World 360 and I'm Sandeep. As protesters marched in downtown Los Angeles towards the courthouse where Labor leader David Huerta was being held, U.S. authorities said that the military will temporarily deploy about 700 Marines to Los Angeles until more National Guard troops can arrive, marking another escalation in President Donald Trump's response to street protests over his aggressive immigration policies. A U.S. official speaking on condition of the anonymity said a battalion would be sent on temporary duty until more National Guard troops could reach the scene. For now, the Trump administration was not invoking the Insurrection Act, which would allow troops to directly participate in the civilian law enforcement. Tense scenes erupted in Los Angeles as protesters faced off with riot police during late-night demonstrations. The following video footage shows fireworks being launched towards officers and motorcyclists doing stunts amid the crowd and heavy police deployment. The unrest follows continued outrage over the immigration raids and enforcement actions. Multiple arrests have been reported as LAPD attempts to regain control of the streets, and on the other hand, the Los Angeles mayor has criticized the Trump administration in deploying the National Guards on the civilians.
Started at Washington, D.C. On Thursday, the city was peaceful. On Friday, it was not because of the intervention of the federal government. And it's, again, I don't think our city should be a test case, a laboratory. We didn't need the National Guard. Why on earth? What are they going to do? Do you know what the National Guard is doing now? They are guarding two buildings. They're guarding the federal building here in downtown, and they're guarding the federal building in Westwood. That's what they're doing. So they need Marines on top of it? I don't understand that. That's why I feel like we are part of an experiment that we did not ask to be a part of. And it makes me feel like our city is actually a test case for what happens when the federal government moves in and takes the authority away from the state or away from local government. I don't think that our city should be used for an experiment to see what happens in the nation's second largest city. Well, maybe we can do this to others.
Hurricane Barbara has become the first hurricane of the 2025 Eastern Pacific season, according to the U.S. National Hurricane Center, moving parallel to Mexico's west coast. Barbara now picks winds of 120 km per hour and is located southwest of Manzanillo, Colima. Authorities warn of heavy rain, flooding, and strong winds across Jalisco, Colima, Michoacan, and Nayarit.
Argument, but I didn't see a lot of physicality there.
And there was this New York Times report that he did not want to talk about, Elon Musk, that alleged that he, towards the end of his time in the White House, was blurring the lines between recreational use of drugs and medicinal. Do you think he ever had drugs here at the White House?
I really don't know. I don't think so. I hope not. Look, I wish him well. You understand. We had a good relationship, and I just wish him well. Very well, actually. Yeah. They were bad. They were incompetent generals. I know all the good ones and the bad ones. We got rid of most of the bad ones.
Soon, I know some.
Which one?
On Elon Musk. Do you plan to speak to him on the phone anytime soon?
I haven't really thought about it, actually. I would imagine he wants to speak to me. I would think so. If I were him, I'd want to speak to me, and maybe he's already called. You'd have to ask him whether or not he's already called. But I'd have no problem with it.
If he calls you, pick up and speak.
Well, I don't want to say that, but I would imagine he'd want to talk to me. The likes of which we haven't seen.
Service that you have here at the White House?
No, I haven't heard that. I mean, I may move the Tesla around a little bit, but I don't think we'll be doing that with Starlink. It's a good service.
Where are you going to move it to? Move it around. What do you mean?
I have a lot of locations.
Actually, about the
I got so many locations that I don't know what to do with them all.
About the Tesla, did you ever see Elon Musk get physical with the Treasury Secretary?
No, I didn't.
And I tried to
They
ask.
did have an argument, but I didn't see a lot of physicality there.
And there was this New York Times report that he did not want to talk about, Elon Musk, that alleged.
The row between Donald Trump and Elon Musk was triggered by months of intense stress on both sides, and the public battle between the US president and the billionaire donor need to stop, Musk's father told. Trump and Musk began exchanging insults last week on the social media, and the Tesla and SpaceX CEO describing the president's sweeping tax and spending bill as a disgusting abomination. Asked whether he thought his son had made a mistake by engaging in a public row with the president, Elon Musk said people were sometimes unable to think as clearly as they should in the heart of the moment.
You know, Elon is standing on principles. He wants to cut the budget into a situation that they save money instead of waste or spend more money than they have. And he was told that his role would be just that. But when he was presented with a budget that in no way represented savings, he stood by his principles and said, I'm not prepared to support this. This is wrong. And so therefore I stand by my son. Elon is not a political... On the other hand, in politics there is give and take. So you can't always get everything perfect because you have to deal with all sorts of people, all sorts of problems. So the answer is, in politics, to try and explain to someone new to politics, it's 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. You know, that's how you go. And I'm pretty sure that soon things will be back to normal in America. I think people, by nature, it's argumentative. I mean, that's the nature of politics. That's what the word means. Politics is to talk and argue. So that's what they've been doing. These days, of course, it goes out into the press and, it gets exaggerated or in some cases made worse than it really is. But it is a bit of a knot that's occurred in the flow of things.
Направлении космоса, потому что сейчас действительно космической эры речь идет.
Scores of wildfires have spread across Canada since the start of May, forcing more than 30,000 people to evacuate in 3 provinces. Indigenous communities have been hit especially hard, although First Nations people make up only around 5% of Canada's population. They are among the most affected by this year's wildfires.
The over 200 wildfires that we have had this spring, with just a significant lack of moisture in the northern areas of our province. To date, 17 of those are active, and we've had to evacuate and support the evacuation of about 15 communities. Just looking ahead to the weather forecast, it doesn't look good. It looks like it is going to further deteriorate. There's no rain in the forecast. Today we're declaring a provincial wildfire state of emergency. Under that wildfire state of emergency are a number of initiatives then that we may have to use over the days ahead to further support the wildland fire suppression and firefighter activities that are happening in the north. It's a very serious situation that we're faced with in Saskatchewan. We do need some rainfall. We need that sooner rather than later. And in light of that not being in the forecast, we most certainly are putting in place every measure possible to prepare our province, prepare our communities, and prepare those that live in our northern communities that are threatened by these wildfires in the days ahead. As us in Manitoba really work alongside one another to support our communities and their residents, and both of us would have requests at certain times for some additional resources, whatever those might be, from human resources to various types of equipment as well.
Russia launched another drone attack on Ukraine, killing 1 and damaging parts of Kiev and Odessa. The assault followed Russia's largest drone strike a day earlier, claiming it was retaliation for Kiev's actions. At least 4 people were hospitalized after strikes hit 7 of Kiev's 10 districts, officials said. Air raid sirens lasted for 5 hours overnight across Kiev, and much of Ukraine's military data showed. Explosions rocked the capital, sparking fires in residential, business, and open space areas. Moscow escalated attacks after Ukraine hit Russian bombers and bridges on June 1st, killing 7. The scandal unacceptable that is unfolding in Gaza, and since the beginning of the march it has been a disgrace. A disgrace, said French President Emmanuel Macron, said describing Israel's blockage of humanitarian aid for Gaza as he called for a ceasefire to end the 20-month-old conflict.
La France appelle à un cessez-le-feu au plus vite et à la levée du blocus humanitaire. Le scandale, l'inacceptable qui se joue à Gaza, c'est cela. Et c'est ce qui, depuis début mars, est une honte. Une honte. Et donc j'ai encore eu et le président des États-Unis d'Amérique et l'émir du Qatar qui jouent un rôle extrêmement important dans la négociation sur ce sujet. D'abord en les remerciant pour cet engagement et en disant que maintenant il fallait qu'on obtienne enfin ce cessez-le-feu, la libération des otages et une réouverture des routes humanitaires. C'est indispensable. Et que les Nations Unies puissent faire avec leurs agences, avec les organisations non gouvernementales accréditées, en parfaite transparence, leur travail. On parle d'enfants, on parle de personnes aujourd'hui dans une situation très grave, on parle de personnes âgées qui sont en train de mourir chaque jour à cause de ce...
Mass protests broke out across Los Angeles over the weekend in response to recent immigration raids targeting undocumented individuals. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum condemned the violence during the demonstrations while urging U.S. authorities to follow the legal due process. The arrest came amid growing concerns over President Trump's immigration policies, with 42 Mexicans reportedly detained and 4 already deported.
El Gobierno de México reitera su compromiso inquebrantable con la protección y defensa de los derechos humanos de los mexicanos en el exterior, independientemente de su situación migratoria. En este sentido, hacemos un llamado respetuoso, pero firme, a las autoridades estadounidenses para que todos los procedimientos migratorios se realicen con apego al debido proceso en un marco de respeto a la dignidad humana y al Estado de Derecho. En todo caso, estas acciones. No estamos de acuerdo con las acciones violentas como forma de protesta. La quema de patrullas parece más un acto de provocación que de resistencia. Debe quedar claro, condenamos la violencia, venga de donde venga. Llamamos a la comunidad mexicana a actuar de manera pacífica. El Gobierno de México reitera su compromiso inquebrantable con la protección y defensa de los derechos humanos de los mexicanos en el exterior, independientemente de su situación migratoria. En este sentido, hacemos un llamado respetuoso, pero firme.
Israeli naval forces intercepted and seized a Gaza-bound boat carrying pro-Palestinian activists, including Greta Thunberg. The vessel, operated by the Freedom Flotilla Coalition, was attempted to break Israel's long-standing naval blockade on Gaza. The 12-member crew is now being taken to an Israeli port where they will reportedly be shown footage of the October 7th Hamas-led attack upon arrival. Israel maintains the blockade to prevent weapons from reaching Hamas, which it designates as a terrorist organization. The ongoing conflict has resulted in over 54,000 Palestinian deaths, according to health officials in Gaza.
Okay, everyone, you see this light? There's a drone right above us lighting this light. We are getting into position right now. This is take cover. Don't stay to the side. Okay, we are masking our face right now. We have quadcopters right above our heads, the most dangerous ones, and they are. I don't know what this is. I'm so sorry. We don't know what this is. If this is paint or some chemical. No idea, but please sound the alarm. They did say that they want to intercept us in a very calm way, but this is not what's happening. There is another war crime about to happen. Okay, they're dropping chemicals on us. They're dropping chemicals on us. We don't know what it is. Look at this. Look at this. They are. Okay, everyone take cover, please.
Nigel Farage, leader of Reform UK, addressed questions about Zia Yusuf at a press conference in Port Talbot, Wales. Yusuf, who heads Reform's Dodge department tackling government waste, will assist with the policy, fundraising and media. Farage aims to present Yusuf as a potential cabinet minister, highlighting Reform's credibility. The party is recruiting outsiders as future ministers, focusing on gaining power in Cardiff and Scotland. Critics call Reform's policies unrealistic, but Richard Tyers insists they are feasible due to the government waste.
I mean, tough to keep up. Look, let's be clear. I think Zia's done a great job. Under enormous pressure. Oh, and by the way, a level of abuse, racist abuse online, unlike I think anybody in modern politics has ever had to put up with. He made a mistake. He got it wrong. It plunged us for a few hours into a difficult place. He expressed his regret to me. I forgave him. Did say don't do it again, but I forgave him. All right? And actually, he comes back after a 48-hour exeat. He comes back into a very, very big job. It's a very important brief. It links directly into what we have to do here, and the first question that was asked by Patrick Maguire today, and the testimony given to us by our two defecting councillors this morning, and we're broadening the management team, and no, we look better and stronger because of it. Would I rather those couple of days hadn't happened? Yes, but look how quickly and effectively we have dealt with it. I am loyal to people all the while they're loyal to me. If they're not, then things change. Inevitably what you get are people who think they're bigger and better than me. The parties will be better off run by somebody else than me. And that's what leads to the public fallouts, because they don't like the result of it. But I think what I've just shown you with Zia, I mean, was I annoyed with Zia on Thursday? Oh, I wasn't exactly chuffed with what he had to say, or how the papers looked the next day, or what you had to say in your reports. But you know what? People make mistakes. And he came back to me.
NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte has issued a stark warning about Russia's growing military capabilities. He emphasized that Russia could be ready to use military force against NATO within 5 years. Rutte pointed out that Russia is producing more ammunition in 3 months than NATO does in a year, highlighting the urgent need for increased defense spending. He urged NATO members to commit to spending 5% of the GDP on defense, arguing the alliance must take a quantum leap in strengthening its collective security. His remarks come ahead of a crucial NATO summit where leaders are expected to discuss significantly military investments and strategies to counter emerging threats.
We are all on the eastern flank now. The new generation of Russian missiles travel at many times the speed of sound. The distance between European capitals is only a matter of minutes. There is no longer East or West. There is just NATO. In 1936, Winston Churchill posed this question during a debate in the House of Commons. Will there be time to put our defenses in order?
Ukraine has begun a major prisoner exchange with Russia, bringing home the first group of POWs under an agreement reached in Istanbul on June 2nd. President Volodymyr Zelensky confirmed that swap will take place in several stages over the coming days, prioritizing severely wounded soldiers and those under 25. Some of the Ukrainian prisoners have been in Russian captivity since war began. Meanwhile, fighting continues, with Russia claiming territorial gains in Dnipropetrovsk, while Kiev reports Moscow launched its largest drone attack of the war. BTS members RM and V hold a press conference after being discharged from their military service. RM and V, two members of the K-pop band BTS, greeted fans at a soccer field after they were discharged from South Korea military. And that's the end of the World 360. Stay tuned to CVR News English.